The folks at Bricktown Brewery welcome you to a special edition of Oklahoma Sports Scene. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Link, along with Gil Cloud, the TPS Hall of Fame Athletic Director. And Gil, this is kind of a fifth Monday of the month. Gives us a chance to kind of look back at some of the highlights that we've had this month.
And I tell you, I think we've had some really good guests, Chris, this month. And I think a lot of our viewers will really like to relive some of the things that they talked about.
We'll take you back to our last show in March 27th, where we had our Gatorade Boys Oklahoma Basketball Player of the Year. Bryce Thompson, the star from Booker T. Washington, and his dad, Rob Thompson. An interesting discussion not only of his playing abilities, but his dad in the AAU situation.
Right. His dad has been very integral with PWP, play with Poise,
right,
in all of the AAU across the country. And I tell you what, it is one of those things that I think he does it right, and I'm glad that he does it right, because we have a lot of people out there that do not do it right with the AAU.
Well, I was traveling and on the road. Coach Cloud had a very special guest, a lady you're very familiar with, another TPS Hall of Famer, Janice Gibbs, to talk about a great youth golf program, the First Tee.
First Tee is a great program. You know, I'm fortunate to be on the First Tee board. I think it's an outstanding group of individuals who really care about kids and want to bring the game of golf to those kids that may not have that opportunity. And they raise money all year long. I have a tremendous golf tournament out at Southern Hills in the fall. And I tell you what, it puts a lot of kids on the golf course that would not get there.
We'll also be spotlighting our Oklahoma Gatorade Girls Basketball Player of the Year in the state of Oklahoma. That is, of course, Gabby Gregory, the outstanding player from Holland Hall, on her way to OU with a scholarship. And her coach, Crystal Lawson, joined us as well. A big year of basketball for Holland Hall.
I tell you what, with both the boys and girls team
right,
qualifying for the state tournament, what an outstanding. And I think you'll see one of the comments that really was surprising to me from Gabby, when Chris asked her what she was going to study, and she says, I really don't like school.
Just play, Gabby, just play for us, that's right. By the way, part of that April 17th show, we had a great time with that, was after the Masters, of course, the incredible win by Tiger Woods, the sports story maybe of the year, and we had a guy to really give us an insight of that, Bo Van Pelt. He's a PGA Tour professional, currently on injury reserve right now. He'll be back on the tour pretty soon. Has played many times the Masters. Of course, former OSU All-American golfer.
It's great to have somebody who has been there, who has experienced Augusta. The guy who has made a hole-in-one on 16, in the tournament himself. And he had a lot of great comments about the golf course and the players themselves.
Our April 24th show, we pulled a couple of sound bites show I think you'll really enjoy. That includes Craig Humphreys. He's going to talk about the bet he made, of course, with Jim Traber. Jim Traber, the sports animal voice in the afternoon. Craig Humphreys, the host in the morning. And he challenged him, saying that I made the greatest bet in the history of the universe. Tiger Woods will never win another major golf tournament. He will never win another PGA event. Well, we'll talk about the bet and the payoff from with Craig Humphreys. Also, Clay Martin, incredible story. NFL referee, but we know him best as the Jenks High School basketball coach.
Jenks High School basketball coach, and of course the TPS Hall of Famer when he played at Nathan Hale High School, but for another Hall of Famer, Robert Sprague. But I tell you what, his ascension to the National Football League was astronomical.
Amazing,
I mean,
he's the white hat, right?
Yes, in a matter of about 5 or 6 years, he's in the league, and about 10 years, he's the referee.
Wow. Well, we mentioned we have the highlights of these past shows we're going to be bringing you, but also we'll have an updated, this will be an updated new Remington Report as well in the show. Hot topics, well, for me, this is my favorite time of year, Coach, of course. The first Saturday in May means the Kentucky Derby. The 145th run for the Roses. That's 3 rows going 1.25 miles at Churchill Downs. The purse now raised this year by $1 million. They'll run for $3 million. The winners share $1.86 million for the greatest 2 minutes in sports. And you of course, are a Louisville guy, right? You know well about the Derby.
Been there, been to 2 of them before I was really old enough to appreciate the Derby. But it's a tremendous week in Louisville. When you go in there, everybody has their home rented out. They leave town, and people move into those homes for the week. And Derby week is outstanding with the mint juleps and the hats. There's really no other sporting event like it.
My first Kentucky Derby was 1987. Ali Sheba won that one. I've been to every Derby since the last couple of years that I've retired, but it is on your bucket list. It has to be on your bucket list. When you sing My Old Kentucky Home, there's nothing like it. Nope. The field, of course, will change. We know it'll be a full field. But right now, the odds-on favorite early on is Omaha Beach. The Arkansas Derby winner is a 3-1 choice, trained by Richard Mandel, who's never won the Kentucky Derby. But Mike Smith had a choice of riding Omaha Beach or riding one for Bobby Baffert, his San Diego Derby winner Roadster. He stayed on Omaha Beach, and I've told people that I like him as a hunch bet. This is the 75th anniversary of D-Day at Omaha Beach, so think about that for you Derby fans. Should be a great race though, and you can see it on NBC. The post time is at 5:50. The telecast 1:30 to 6:30 on NBC for
I like
the Kentucky
Improbable,
Derby.
by the way.
Yeah, oh, you like that? All right.
I like
That,
Improbable.
big price too.
Yep.
All right, Tulsa Drillers. Well, they're finally have a 7-game homestand. They've been on the road for a long time, and Midland Rock Hounds, and then Corpus Christi Hooks will be here through May 7th.
And they're 8-8 right now, and,
Right.
and of course that being on the road and you're still trying to put your team together, that makes it a little tough. But it'll be great to be back at One Oak, and of course, obviously on Friday night they always have the fireworks, so you want to be out there when they're there.
Support the Tulsa Drillers. Oral Roberts baseball team, by the way, they're finally back in town. They coming off a long 7-game road trip with league opponents North Dakota State and Purdue Fort Wayne. May 3rd through the 5th, they're hosting Western Illinois at J.L. Johnson Stadium as that season's winding down for the Golden Eagles. I was out there watching them beat OU the other night, so having a good baseball team again this year. And Roughneck soccer coach, big match this past Saturday with Oklahoma City.
Big match, and I tell you, the crowd was great.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of those things where this will be a tremendous rivalry for years and years to come. And once we get that soccer stadium downtown, it'll really be big.
Well, the good news is we have a lot of Drillers baseball. That means we don't have a lot of Roughneck soccer.
That's
Therefore,
right.
The next home match won't be until June the 1st. Coach, let's wrap up spring football for the Big Four schools. Interesting that all 4 of our schools, Tulsa, OU, OSU, Arkansas, all will have new starting quarterbacks 2019.
They will, and I think the only one that's solved is Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I think that the Jalen Hurts, there's no question, the kid has played in national championship football games. He was the SEC Player of the Year one year. He's very poised. I think he can handle the pressure of big-time football, and it was great to have over 50,000 people at Norman after they had moved it from Saturday to Friday, 24 hours before that. So I think the passion for football is there. I think the other 3 are toss-ups on who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah, Oklahoma State finished with their practice sessions. Spencer Sanders, the redshirt freshman, and Drew Brown, the Hawaii transfer. They're 2 battling, and there's really no clear-cut favorite there. Tulsa, quarterback, the Baylor transfer, Zach Smith seems to be in the lead, but last year Seth Boomer, of course, the Collinsville kid, came on strong at the end of the season. He's still in the mix. Arkansas quarterback, they've got 2 transfers. Ben Hicks from SMU, Nick Stockel from Texas A&M. They're trying to figure that out, but by the way, they've got a freshman who happens to be named John Stephen Jones. He's Jerry Jones's grandson, so they're with pressure to play him some.
And I've seen him play. If you watch on Cox, they'll have the Texas State Championship. And I'm going to tell you, he can throw it. Now, he can absolutely throw it.
By the way, the season's open for our Big Four football teams. Last week in August 31st, Oklahoma is home to take on Houston. On August 30th, a Friday night, it'll be Oklahoma State all the way on the West Coast to play at Oregon State. TU, tough opener for the Golden Hurricane. August 30th, Friday night, they're playing at Michigan State in East Lansing. And the Arkansas Razorbacks, they have a scrimmage August 31st against somebody called Portland State.
Portland State, there you go. Well, that's a guaranteed game.
That's it. We come back, we're going to bring you our first of our Oklahoma High School Gatorade Basketball Players of the Year. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene. It's our recap highlight show. Hope you'll enjoy it. Jimmy's Egg now introducing a 55-plus menu. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Special items and special prices for us a little older, I guess you'd say. Also, don't forget, coming up on Jimmy's Egg, they have free pancakes. That's right. You download their app, you can order free pancakes. The best ever, of course, at Jimmy's Egg. They serve breakfast and lunch all day. They open at 6 a.m. They close at 2 p.m. Locations throughout Tulsa, throughout Oklahoma City, 22 company locations. Jimmy's Egg, simply the best.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Welcome back to Bricktown Brewery. Now we have Bryce Thompson, the male Gatorade Player of the Year in basketball, and his father Rod Thompson, who played at the University of Tulsa and coaches the AAU teams, the PWP, in the summer. Let's hear what Rod and Bryce have to say. And of course, we're going to see that the Gatorade kind of skimped on the trophies and things for Bryce. And we have two really special guests today. We have Rod Thompson, the curator of PWP, right? Yeah. And we have his son, who is a heck of a lot better basketball player than Bryce than Rod ever thought about. Bryce, you weren't Player of the Year, were you?
You know what? I don't think they were giving that award out.
I see. And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
Appreciate you guys having us.
Bryce Thompson, just a junior, by the way, at Booker T, Tulsa, Booker T, Washington High School, is the Gatorade Boys Player of the Year in Oklahoma. And Bryce, again, I'm going to run down some of these stats for you. Of course, he's 6'6", 185. A guard, 26-2 record for the Hornets, led him to the 6A state championship, first time since 2011. His stats, 19.6 points, 5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 1.1 steals, and also, you're very proud of the fact he was your MVP of your Tournament of Champions.
And he's a state champion, which is the most important thing.
Yes, sir. Bryce, congratulations. Talk about the season the Hornets had, and how important was it for you guys to get that Booker T championship back, another trophy for you?
It was great. I mean, it was an amazing run. You know, we worked real hard in the off season, you know, to prepare for that moment. So we were just trying to add on to the Booker T tradition because in the past, we're known for getting a lot of championships, so we were trying to build on it and keep it going.
You know, the thing that impressed me, and I watched all 3 games in the state tournament, was the togetherness, the family atmosphere of that team. Everybody rooting for everybody else. That made a heck of a lot of difference, didn't it?
Yes. I mean, a lot of selfless players, you know, we don't really care who gets the credit. I mean, we're just trying to win and doing whatever it takes. So we have a good chemistry off the court. I believe that helps on the court. So just those little things make a big difference.
Talk about some of your teammates. Of course, your head coach, Colin Coates, did a great job, and his son was a big part of that team, too.
Trey Phipps had an amazing game in a state championship.
Oh, he lit him up with 3, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, he got hot and just kept feeding him. I mean, you're trying to win, so I'm just trying to do whatever it takes. So kept giving the ball. And Seth also had a really good state tournament, played really well. I mean, he was one of the main leaders for our team.
I think Seth Hurd had a good month.
Yeah.
February and the first part of March, he really came on.
Well, this guy right here next to us, this goes back to more of our generation, too. TU's outstanding basketball players, the 90s, 95, the 98. Rod Thompson is well known at the University of Tulsa as a TU guard, and some great memories there, Rod.
Oh, man, unbelievable memories, playing at TU, being a small town guy from Biggs and being able, in the community and being able just to be around in basketball. And, you guys did some of my games and was around and then kind of come back full circle. And I'm really fortunate to be able, even to sit here, but be able to, help other young men. So, of course, fond memories of the University of Tulsa. We had some outstanding teams there, and I bleed blue, and also a Biggs Demon. And so, just very fortunate and very blessed to be able to, be around sports and have some great coaches and outstanding people to be around.
Well, let's talk about it. We've got to talk about it.
Okay.
We've got that investigation going on.
AAU.
And you've been involved for a long time. Rod, what do you think? What's the bottom line?
It's not in a good place. And, and I'll be the first to say that. I am an AAU coach and been doing it for a long time, but it isn't. It's not in a good place. There has to be some things set, kind of guidelines set. I mean, even me in my program, and it's very competitive. I mean, you go out, you got to try to get kids to play for your program. There's so many different programs, but even myself, I've lost kids, based on somebody giving them something, and we've always tried to take the approach to get kids to realize not just that it's just about basketball, but You know, I have to go out, get donations to try to help to get these kids travel. But the main thing we try to teach is that, you know, just because it doesn't cost you anything doesn't mean it didn't cost anybody something. And I think that we're at the point now, you know, in this, is, you know, it's kind of turned into the highest bidder. And so until there is some regulations set, I think you've seen it, you know, kind of blend over. I don't know exactly what those answers are, but it's not in a good place right now, you know, when it comes to that. Now, I think as a whole, when you talk about the AU system and what it's been able to provide and you know, the exposure side of it and the elite level competition you get to play, I think that's outstanding. But until something is set in place to try to get it, it's going to be tough.
Well, the thing that hits me with this is that there doesn't seem to appear to be any accountability from one state to the other on the operation.
Where there's not. And what happened is, I'll say we're Under Armour. So we play on the Under Armour circuit. Nike has their circuit. Adidas had their circuit. This is where you begin to see all of the stuff that we're talking about. So Nike started the EYBL first. And so they got some of the best players, and all of it was created to keep those elite players in the shoe brand. So if they happen to go to the NBA or have a chance, they've been used to wearing Nike. So, you know, you have that. They had the monopoly. So Adidas start one, Under Armour start one. And so now this is what you have that, you know, it's kind of like, okay, the highest bidder, we want to get this kid. And I mean, you think about it, you take somebody like a LeBron James or these elite level guys that mean so much to, you know, these shoe companies, and they start early enough. I mean, the stories go on and on, but when those were created, I think this is the 10th year when you talk about Nike starting EYBL and Adidas and Under Armour were right behind them. And they felt like they had to do something to be able to create it. That's when you've been able to see all of the issues that we've been able, that you're seeing in the news now.
Now, Bryce, you'll be playing AU basketball, I guess,
Yes,
for your
sir.
dad, right?
Yes.
How important is that program for developing your skills?
It's really important. I mean, we have a lot of good coaches on staff that help me every time we work out, every time we have practice to make sure I'm getting better, or us as a team is getting better. And everybody's working on their weaknesses. So it's really important, and I take it very serious.
This young man, Bryce Thompson, by the way, ranked by ESPN number 46 nationally as a recruit. Also, and I want to give credit to Booker T. Washington and your academics. A good job there. Some 3.29 GPA, Gil, and at Booker T. Also a talented musician, works at Food Bank volunteer, works with area youth basketball program. Just absolute all around great kid, great player. And some of the schools, talk about some of the schools have already approached you or talked to you, Bryce, as a junior.
OU, OSU, Kansas, Tulsa, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Colorado.
Wow.
Is that all?
Yeah. Nah, list goes on.
We have to also show off the Gatorade Player of the Year in Oklahoma. This means the best of the best in the entire state of Oklahoma. They sent him a damn water bottle.
Well, he got a backpack.
It says Player of the Year. You can barely read the damn thing. I mean, he came in and I said, "That's it." And what are the shot glasses? One of those. What is that, Bryce? My gosh. I don't know. Yeah, right,
Well, Gatorade's going to cut back a little bit.
I guess that's right. Yeah. Congratulations on Gatorade Player of the Year.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brew house? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Welcome to OKC's most unique casino experience. One moment you're surrounded by dazzling lights, jackpotting the latest and greatest machines in town, and the next moment, cheering home a winner in the greatest quarter horse racing show on earth. It's a truly unique 24/7 gaming experience. The only casino in the heart of OKC is the only casino that can make your heart truly race. Remington Park.
Well, you know, Jimmy Zing, of course, is the place to go for breakfast or lunch any time of the day, starting at 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. Jimmy Zing, of course, with 3 locations in Tulsa, 22 company stores, 17 more in Oklahoma City. Want to be really cool, though? Go to the phone and get the Jimmy's app. Jimmy's app, you just pull up whatever you want. They have coupons, they have specials, they have the entire menu. You can order online as well. Jimmy Zapp with Jimmy's Egg. Can't beat it. We continue our Oklahoma Sports Scene highlight show from the Bricktown Brewery in South Tulsa. And we're featuring now the Gatorade Women's Player of the Year in high school sports in Oklahoma. That is Gabby Gregory of Holland Hall, along with her coach, Crystal Lawson. She is the Tulsa World's pick as the Coach of the Year. Let's listen to our two ladies and their awards.
We have two special guests today from Holland Hall. Gabby Gregory, the Gatorade Player of the Year, and her coach, Crystal Lawson. Welcome to Sports Scene.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's a great year for Holland Hall in basketball, both boys and girls. Huh?
Yes.
Teddy Owens did a good job getting his boys in the state tournament there, and you guys got a tough draw to start there, Coach. I tell you.
We did.
Yeah.
We did, and it was really exciting for our school to have both the girls and boys program making state in the same year. So it was really special.
And Gabby, 6 foot forward, averaged 22.6 points a game, 10.3 rebounds a game, and Oklahoma Gatorade Player of the Year, as you mentioned. And there, in fact, is the trophy you just received from the folks at Gatorade. The banner in the background there will be hanging in the Raptors at Holland Hall High School in the future, while Gabby is going to be down the road in Norman as a recruit for the Oklahoma Sooners playing for Sherry Cole. Talk about that. Must be excited about going to OU.
It's been a dream of mine since I was little to just play for OU. I've always looked up to Sherry, so it'll be just a dream come true to be able to play there and play for her.
I imagine she's very excited to have you there. It's kind of a tough season for the Lady Sooners.
Yeah, just coming off that season, I think this year is kind of just going to be more of like a rebuilding. My class is pretty strong. It's me and then a girl from Houston that's probably just like a little bigger than I am. And then they have a post player from Australia that's already there right now.
Oh.
So what are you going to play? What position?
Well, I've actually talked to Sherry about that, and she kind of just puts the best 5 players out there. Like, doesn't really matter like what position they play, which this year they didn't really have any post players, so that was like really difficult playing against big teams like Baylor and Texas and teams like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, she doesn't really like to talk about like just like specific positions, because she just wants, like, if you get a rebound and you can take the ball up the court, then like it's whatever.
Well, Gabby, by the way, finished as Oklahoma's 8th leading girls basketball scorer of all time, 2,071 points, ranked 65th best girls player in the nation, over 2 dozen Division I scholarship hours before committing to Sherry Cole and the Sooners here. So that's good news for Sherry. Sherry's excited. But for Coach Lawson, this young lady has led you to 3 straight state tournaments. How do you replace Gabby?
You don't replace Gabby. She's meant everything to our program. Just been such a great role model, even for our younger kids. And to me, one of the really special things, Gabby's an excellent basketball player, and everybody knows that. But she's proven to a lot of young people these days think, if I want to go to college for a certain sport, I have to focus just on that one sport. She's an all-state volleyball player as well. Throws, shot, and disc for us for our track team. So just a great role model to show young kids that you can play multiple sports.
And I think that's critical today, because there's so much specialization, and we're robbing kids of that high school experience.
Right.
There's no question. I hate it.
And I guess for Gabby, you have a favorite. Is it basketball, or do you think you'll pursue?
Oh yeah, by far.
Do you pursue any of these other sports at OU? Do you think you'll have time for that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Well, there was no bigger sports story in the month of April, perhaps even this year, than Tiger Woods winning the Masters. his 5th green jacket, his 15th major tournament, his first victory in 11 years for a major tournament. We have a special guest to talk about in the show.
Bo Van Pelt, who's actually played in the Masters, got a hole-in-one on 16, and can give us the inside view of how the players view Augusta National.
Go Bo Van Pelt, former Oklahoma State University golf star, PGA professional himself, and a guy who had a hole-in-one at Augusta. We'll talk about that too. But Bo, got to get your impressions of that incredible Masters event.
No, it was. I was glued to the TV. I mean, to me, it was as powerful a sporting event as I've ever seen. You know, Tiger and I are roughly the same age, so I've seen him. I've known him since high school, and you know, to see kind of where he's come from and to play the way he did coming out of stretch, and you could just tell the raw emotion, you know, that he felt when he actually won there. And I said on the radio earlier today. I mean, I think the first 14. I think in many people's eyes, he was just like a golfing machine.
Right.
And you know, with what's gone on the last 10 years, to me, that was the first one. I think people saw the human side of him, and it felt like that was the first one for him. And I was just so happy for him that in the raw emotion that he showed, and got to enjoy that with his kids. It was great.
What a great opportunity, but don't you think that really accelerates golf again in this country?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, nobody moves the needle like he does. You know, there's been some fantastic golf the last several years by some of these young guys, the Dustin Johnsons, Koepka, Ricky Fowler, but collectively, unfortunately, they don't draw the interest that he does by himself. He's just, I think from an individual standpoint, really the only person in his stratosphere is Muhammad Ali, you know, for what he's meant from a worldwide standpoint in sport. So to have him be relevant in golf again and to play at that level is great for the sport.
14 years between Masters wins, 11 years between major wins, and now you wonder, is he ready? Is he really back?
Well, I think you saw some of that last summer. You know, competing at the Open Championship, finishing second at the British or at the PGA.
Right.
I think winning the Tour Championship really set the stage for what happened, because he didn't have to answer, can I win? You know, he won one of the biggest tournaments in the world, and so I don't think there's any question. If his body stays healthy, 15 will not be his last one. I don't know if he gets to 18, but I wouldn't bet against it.
You know, what's interesting, and you said that, Bo, and people don't think about a guy like Tiger Woods having a lack of confidence, but until you go back and do it, you have that. Even the great hitters in the major leagues go 0 for 15, and you know, I mean, that's kind of how it is. And winning, I think you're exactly right. I think that set him in tone to be able to do what he's done.
No, I think there's no question. I think that once his body got healthy, he started seeing some good things at home, and then he needed to, you know, transfer that over the golf course in the tournament. And once he did that a couple times, but then making that final step to a win, I think it was just a relief that, like, I don't have to answer that question anymore. I can do it again.
And of course, everybody puts Jack Nicklaus as the measuring stick, and right now he has one more green jacket than Tiger, 3 more majors than Tiger, and he's what, 43 years old, Tiger is. So plenty of time still?
Oh yeah, I think, you know, the biggest question is if the back holds up, like, and it seems like it is going to. I mean, he's in good shape. I think his golf swing looks as natural as it's looked in a long time. I think that helps. I think he's taking great care of his body, and I think now that he's in a good rhythm of playing well, he won't have to play as much as he was last year getting back in a rhythm. So he'll be really able to take care of his body.
You know, I think, and you mentioned the raw emotion, and I heard it this morning when our friends on The Animal talked about his kids actually have grown up never watching him win, you know, until yesterday. They've heard the stories, but they actually see my dad win and go out there. I think there was a lot of emotion that was shown at the end of the match.
No, it was, you know, seeing his son stride next to him after the embrace with his hat on backwards, and he had a good stride to him. I told my wife, I said, you know, he's going to go back to his buddies and say, you know, your dad might be cool, but my dad's Tiger Woods cool. Like, you know, so that was so cool for him to get to experience that with his children.
No
I
kidding.
think, you know, and everybody that was there. I mean, I think that people who love sports, they want to be entertained, and you know, just the emotion of the crowd when they showed the replays and how excited everybody was for him. When they, you know, people that go to Augusta every year, they saw him as a 21-year-old kid, you know, break down those barriers and have record-setting performances and kind of have stuck with him. And so to see him, the culmination of his first major back, that's where it should have been. It should have been at Augusta.
And we all take great pride in the state of Oklahoma, of course, in seeing Ricky Fowler in that Oklahoma State orange on the final day of his. We saw another kid with an Oklahoma State golf shirt on, the low amateur for the Masters.
No, Victor's a tremendous player and represented the school just like you knew he would. I mean, the team that Coach Bratton's put together down there, winning the NCAA last year. Carson's awesome, and his performance last year at Pebble Beach was as impressive as there's probably ever been in that tournament. He never was behind. To do that in the USA Amateur is ridiculous. So I picked him. He was my sleeper pick, so I'll give myself a little pat on the back that he did well. So really happy for them.
What a great line. Jim Nance says, now what are you going to do? He says, I got to be in class tomorrow.
Yes, right.
And then we got to win the NCAA championship again.
Exactly.
And neat to have his coach on the bag with him. Alan Brown was on the bag for Victor Hovland.
No, to me, Alan was College Player of the Year when he was in school and we were teammates.
Yeah.
So a great pedigree, and he was on the bag when Peter Uline won the USAM and now with Victor. And so I think it helps take his bond with those guys even another level, because Alan played on the PGA Tour and they feel comfortable with him walking the golf course with him.
Doesn't hurt recruiting either, does it?
I wouldn't think so.
Well, of course, Bo Van Pelt, a great Oklahoma State golfer, 1998 graduate of OSU. And you got to be awful proud of that program. I think it's probably unmatched in terms of college golf, what that program has done under Mike Holder and on the other coaches here.
Yeah, starting with Coach Harris and then Coach Holder and then Coach McGraw for a few years and then now Allen. I mean, I think I just feel so fortunate to be a part of the history of that program and to be part of it. It's truly a golf fraternity. And if you're a kid out there wanting to play at the next level, I can't imagine a better place to go. And how about you, Bo? Give us an update on you. I know you've been off the tour a bit with some surgery, and give us an update. Yeah, no, I've had 3 surgeries in the last couple of years, so it's it's been a blessing though. I've gotten to see my kids grow up, gotten to coach some of their sports teams. My daughter's going off to school after college in the fall, which is hard to believe, but finally they've kind of figured out what was going on, and I look to be back in September. I'm trying to get healthy and be back for when the season starts.
So your goal is to be at what tournament in September?
Whenever the new PGA Tour season starts,
Okay.
so the first one. So that's kind of my goal.
They've kind of switched things around, which they said might benefit Tiger as well. The PGA is moving to May. Then, of course, the Open. Then we'll finish the U.S. Open. Then finish the British Open. Is that how the
That is correct. Yeah.
Now?
And really, the next 2 tournaments, he's won at Bethpage Black
Right.
and at Pebble Beach.
Sure.
So, with the form he's in, I would think that he'd definitely be one of the favorites going to the next 2. I wouldn't bet against him.
You can't bet against
No.
him. What was interesting, we had Nick Sidorkis on last week, and we asked him for his top 4, and Tiger was not in his top 4.
Ah, see?
It was really amazing.
I saw a guy went to Vegas, and William Hills, he put $85,000 down on Tiger at 14-1. He got his ticket today for a little over $1 million.
$1.4 million.
1.4, highest payoff ever in a golf wager there. I was looking at your rundown of the Masters here. Played 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Best finish tied for 8th in 2011. And talk about that hole-in-one on the famous number 16.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I was actually playing with Scott Verplank in 2012 when I made it. Shot 64 that day, so that was definitely a memorable round. And so to make a hole-in-one, it was growing up a kid in Indiana, that was the first kind of tournament of the spring, and to make it on an iconic hole like that was definitely something I'll never forget.
Craig Humphreys is with us now. He is the morning voice for the Oklahoma Sports Animal at WWLS there in the city, 9 to 12. He's also known as the man who made the bet with Jim Traber. Take us through that and give us an update. Did Traber pay off?
Traber has paid off. He's paid off not only me, but he lost 3 or 4 bets on this one. But no, the bet was made in 2011. And in 2011, Tiger had come back. Remember, 2010 Masters was the first tournament he had played that year. And so he played the rest of 2010. He was injured in the 2011 Masters, hitting a shot under the Eisenhower tree. And so remember, he didn't play in the U.S. Open or the British Open that year. Tried to come back too soon, and he injured himself. Tried to come back too soon and wasn't ready, and played at Firestone where he's won 8 times, but played at Firestone, played the PGA, was terrible, and that's right after that PGA where Jim said he was done, said Tiger is done. And I said, he's not done, he's just injured. If he's healthy, he will play good golf again. So we argued about it, and we decided the way to decide it was, he bet that he would never win another major. So that was in August of 2011. He came back, he won 3 times in 2012, he won 5 times in 2013, was player of the year, back to number 1 in the world, he just didn't win a major, and then he got hurt at the end of 2013, injured his back, had the back surgery, announced right before the Masters 2014 he was going to have to miss the Masters, and ended up missing the Masters US Open that year. That was the first of 4 surgeries. and ended up trying to play hurt in 14 and 15. 16 and 17, he didn't even play a major. And so obviously the bet was made in 2011. It had been 7.5, almost 8 years since the bet was made. Traber has given, I bet him $200 that he would win a major. He later, at the end of 2017, December of 17, when he came back, he was playing in the Hero World Challenge. Tiger hit a drive 340 yards, and Traber was saying, this is just an exhibition. People are getting way too carried away. I said, 340 is 340. And so he said, you want to bet that he'll ever win a tour event? I said, any tour event? He said, yeah, a regular PGA Tour event. I said, sure, you're on. So we bet another $200 on any tour event. So I collected on that last year at the Tour Championship, and obviously collected on the major this year. Mark Rogers was part of that, one of our producers who we call the Missile. He was part of it. He lost a bet to Jim Woodward, a teaching pro at Oak Tree National. Woody said he would win last year, and he did. So, Traber plays a lot of poker on the side.
Yeah.
And we're giving him a hard time at the station, saying that we hope he's better against his poker players than he is against the guys at the station. So
the greatest bet in human history on this planet or any other planet was this quote there. But I understand the money most has gone to the First Tee program over there too.
Well, that's what he was supposed to write the check to the First Tee. He ended up leaving $200 with our program manager. But yeah, we do. The First Tee program is alive and well in Oklahoma City, and we would appreciate Traber's support anytime.
30 years ago, a race began along a quarter mile of dirt and dreams in Oklahoma City. Today, with the biggest prize money and the best horses, that glittering quarter mile is home to the best quarter horse racing on earth. Remington Park proudly presents our biggest quarter horse season ever, celebrating 30 years of hard racing fun. World's best, OKC's own, Remington Park.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Boundary, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze? Or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
From the Bricktown Brewery Restaurant in South Tulsa, it's our Oklahoma Sports Scene highlight show for the month of April. Another golf story we featured, by the way, was Oklahoma Sports Scene about the First Tee Youth Golf Program. Director of our local program is with us, Janice Gibson. Gil Cloud and his special co-host, Don King, visited with her.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, brought to you by Bricktown Brewery. And our special guest during this segment is a lady that's very busy, has been involved in this business for a long time, Janice Gibson from First Tee. Janice, welcome here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about First Tee and what the history of the program and when it started and what all you've been able to accomplish.
Absolutely. You know what? The First Tee is a special organization. It teaches the values of the game of golf. It teaches life skills, and we teach the children. Our program's for ages 8 to 18. So it's for all kiddos. And what makes it really special is it's free to all. We've had many people say, you know what, I can tell a difference between a First Tee kid on the golf course. They follow all the etiquette. So it's really more than just teaching golf. It's definitely more than that, because we want the children to understand the values. We have 9 core values that we link in with one of the golf lessons. And so I like the life skills that it teaches. That's really the gut of the program, really. It teaches the kids life skills. It'll help them outside of the golf course, at school, and at home, handle different kinds of situations. Of course, we all love golf, and that's our passion, of course, right? For sure.
Jared, my youngest son was in one of the very first tee programs in the late 90s, and Janice did a wonderful job with him. He still plays today and has the passion, thanks obviously to you. You were a pro golfer at one time. What made you want to become a teacher?
You know, giving back to the program, I had many people in my life that gave me the passion. My father, of course, was the one that said, let's go out and play every day. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, I was fortunate enough to join at Meadowbrook Country Club. But I remember I had so many fond memories with my dad. And, you know, I can't think of anything better to pass on to another kiddo. They might not have a family member that plays golf. So, you know, if we can pass that on, the passion, and it's a great sport. I mean, any kind of sport is a great sport, but I think golf is kind of special. I really do.
One of the things that I've learned, been fortunate because of my position, not because of me, I'm on the board of First Tee, and I've learned so much about the operation. But what really, as an educator, makes me feel good about what we're doing is that you have an ACT program.
Yes.
Where you provide opportunities for those kids to learn how to take the test.
Absolutely. And that's the whole idea, is the educational opportunities outside of the regular program. We call it regular programming, 8-week program for the spring and the summer and the fall. Out in between those 2 sessions, we offer educational opportunities for different age groups. So we have an ACT test prep for our older children, and then we also have a reading and math class. And there are so many kiddos that get so much out of those programs, and we can change the difference in their life, really make the direction different, because they can now learn how to read, a system, maybe keep them up with their grade level. Just a little bit of assistance can go a long way.
You know, Tulsa Public Schools, all the schools in this area have become really beneficial because of the Hispanic community. The Hispanic community has really grown in northeastern Oklahoma.
Yes.
Last time I saw you was last fall out at Mohawk, where you do a lot of your teaching, and they had a foot golf program that they're starting for Hispanics. Explain that to us.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of our program too. We use a soccer ball. It's with golf rules, if you can imagine that. And the golf hole is this big around. That's the kind I need actually right now. But a golf hole is a soccer. You know, obviously you can kick the soccer ball into. But we can teach the rules of golf so quickly. Who's away? Who goes first? How to keep score? The etiquette of the game. How to be honest about your score, etc., etc. So much quicker than if we had a club in their hand. They haven't learned how to hit the ball yet, maybe. So it makes it so much easier to take that, you know, take it to the next level. And the kids love it, of course.
And of course, and you mentioned Mohawk, and you have a nice facility at Mohawk.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And you have donors who have assisted you with that.
Yes.
Talk about that facility.
Oh, it's a learning center. The learning center is at Mohawk Park Golf Course. The First Tee building, it's a facility, learning facility, gorgeous. It's a $500,000 facility just for the kids and the staff, of course. It's packed all the time. We have bus loads of kids coming in to participate, bus loads going back out. We've recently hired 3 van drivers. We have 3 vans to bring the kids to the program, all free of cost. So they come in, they take the hour-and-a-half long class, they go back out, so they're transported. But you know what? It's a roaring. The door is just always continually going back and forth. And last year, I know we transported over 700 kids to the First Tee Life lessons. So providing an opportunity for all the kiddos.
It seems like we've been through 2 or 3 vans and all that, where they actually go to the school, pick the kids up, and bring them there, because a lot of those kids don't have the wherewithal to be able to do that.
That's right.
And we're introducing golf to kids who normally in their normal life would never get introduced to golf.
Never. And that's what really our mission is, to provide all children an opportunity to experience the game of golf and its inherent values.
Now, did Tiger Woods help get this started?
You know
or am
what?
I dreaming?
Tiger Woods was involved with the national office,
okay.
And that was when it was started back, you know, in the 90s with the national office, which is located in St. Augustine, Florida.
Okay.
Now, we began programming in 2001. So, but yeah, every chapter is funded locally. So the chapter in Tulsa is one of 150 chapters, approximately. So. And we are one of the largest. I will say we've grown every year. The very beginning we had 300, a little bit over 300 students in the whole year in 2001, and now we're over 15,000 easily. So we're loving it. It is great. There's nothing better than it. Really is.
How can people help?
Oh, we'd love to have you come out and volunteer. We need volunteers. Of course, each chapter is locally funded, so to keep the program expanding and growing and keep the budget in step with that, of course, we take contributions.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Our program is the only one in the First Tee network that's free to the kids. Totally free.
That's fantastic.
Nothing costs anything. So.
Jimmy's Egg now introducing a 55-plus menu. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Special items and special prices for us a little older, I guess you'd say. Also, don't forget, coming up on Jimmy's Egg, they have free pancakes. That's right. You download their app, you can order free pancakes. The best ever, of course, at Jimmy's Egg. They serve breakfast and lunch all day. They open at 6 a.m. They close at 2 p.m. Locations throughout Tulsa, throughout Oklahoma City, 22 company locations. Jimmy's Egg, simply the best.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
I bring Tulsa's voice to Oklahoma City and Washington. I build relationships with elected officials and community stakeholders to develop policies that grow the Tulsa region. I loved my time at Rider State University. The personal relationships I developed with professors really helped develop a skill set that would help me serve the Tulsa region that I care about. It all started for me at Rider State University.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, brought to you by Bricktown Brewery. And our guest now is really an individual that has a diversity of experience. He's not only a head basketball coach, he's also a referee. And of course, the best referee I ever saw was horrible. However, Clay Martin. Clay,
how are you?
Nice
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Coach, how you doing?
That's the nicest thing everybody's ever said about me. I appreciate
good. No,
that.
Clay
Thank
actually
you.
is a white hat in the National Football League.
You can't get bigger than that.
No, that's it.
Referee in the National Football League. First, talk about your Jenks Trojans. It was a bounce-back year for you guys.
Yeah,
Nice job,
thank you.
Coach.
Thank you. It was really a good year for us, a good step in the right direction. Won 18 games this year, and we're really, really close to getting back to the state tournament where we're kind of used to being. And our senior class was phenomenal and have left us in a good place, really, to be good for the next few years.
Beat your rival Union for that regional championship, huh?
We did. It was a sweet win at the UMAC. We won't bring up the 2 times they beat us during the regular season, but it was a good win for us. A great playoff win.
Then you ran into Booker T and TPS, huh?
Golly, I'm happy, obviously, as being a Tulsa Public graduate from Nathan Hale. It's really neat that Conley and his guys were able to get that done, and what a phenomenal team.
And a TPS Hall of Famer.
That's right.
That's right. You bet. No, I tell you what, high school basketball in this area seems to be as good as it's ever been, don't you think?
I think, and so much deeper than it's been. You know, there for a while, there would be 1 or 2 teams in the area that you knew were going to be good, but I think that the depth back on the east side of the state has really come back over the last few years, and it just makes all of us better.
Well, the Frontier Conference every Tuesday and Friday is a war.
It is. Yeah. You nailed it. We used to be able to, think of a couple wins a year. You can just show up and play, and by God, not anymore. Every Tuesday and Friday is a dogfight.
It is.
How many years coaching at Jenks now? Okay.
Coaching at Jenks now. Just finished my 14th as the head coach.
And talk about getting into refereeing and how you built up all the way to the National Football League.
Well, gosh, how long do we have? I tell you, I started officiating really just to make a little extra money. That my wife wanted to stay at home with our young family.
Sure.
And I wasn't, making a ton of money in education. I wasn't an athletic director here like Mr. Cloud. And but just started, trying to make a little extra money, and started working some spring scrimmages at the University of Tulsa early on, and was working one spring day, and Gerald Austin from Conference USA stopped me after and said, "Hey, why haven't you applied? You're in our footprint." And I said, "Sir, I've just been doing this 2 years." He said, "I don't care."
Oh.
And that 3rd year, I was doing a Division I football game, and so he saw something in me, and was kind of a part-time official. I worked 2 games my first year, and then 4 games, still doing high school in those off weeks, and worked Division I for 8 years, moved to referee my last 2, and did some arena football along the way. Then in 2015, Dean Blandino called me and welcomed me into the National Football League.
Wow. I guarantee you, how is it in the National Football League? As an official, and now you're the white hat. So.
Certainly. Well, it's a blast. You know, Coach Miller was just asking me about that, and I said, Coach, there's so many adjectives that we could use to describe a Sunday. But it really is. You're so fortunate. There's 123 of us that get to do that and wear the shield, and 17 referees, and so you just pinch yourself every Sunday, and you're humbled that you get to do that.
Give us the breakdown of getting prepared. What your week is like when you arrive on the game site.
Oh gosh, it's, you know, Ed Hockley told me when I got moved to referee, called me. I was on his crew for my first 2 years. He said, Clay said, the easiest 3 hours of your week now is going to be the game. And I thought, well, what does that mean? And he said, listen, it's going to be everything else you're in charge of now as the referee. And so I think really just working backwards, you know, my week starts after I leave a game, because as soon as I board that plane, I'm plugging in a thumb drive and I'm reviewing our game, and I'm watching the TV copy and making notes about our crew, and TV's kind to us on some shots that we can use to, you know, to help us as a crew. And you know, Monday it's I have to have a game report into New York by a certain time with you know, certain obligations that involve our calls and non-calls and those things. And Tuesday I'm putting together our pregame meeting for the crew. Wednesday's training tapes, Thursday's crew test, Friday's a travel day, Saturday, is our pregame meeting that we spend about 3 hours in, and then Sunday starts all over, and then Monday morning I'm back to work at Jinx.
There you go. Do you know Larry Nimmers?
I do, Springfield, Missouri, and an educator.
Larry Nimmers was one of our alums from Upper Iowa University.
Oh, yes, sir.
And
Absolutely.
I used to go by through there, and I liked his comment when he said, hey, here's the thing. He said, they moved me up to the booth.
Yeah.
You know, I still make what I make, and I'm cold. I'm not cold, and I'm not hot anymore.
That's right.
But how does the replay? How does that go with you guys? I mean, do you like that, or do you not like it? Or?
Well, you know, number one, we want it to be right. Our goal is hopefully we're doing our job to prepare to nail every call we see, whether that's a pass fumble, whether that's, you know, a touching or whatever. We can give so many examples, but we want it to be right. And so, you know, replay has changed the game, of course, but in my opinion, for the better. You know, Larry's is one of the best. I actually got to work with him this year up in the booth, and he's so good. But you know, it just like all of us, you know, how long does it take, or, you know, to get the shot? Sometimes we don't have all the shots that you're seeing at home. Correct. And they're going, what in the world's taking so long? Why aren't we just, and we saw some of that in March Madness this year. You know, they were, you know, people were talking about this is taking too long. But TV's really good, and our guys get on the phone right away. Here's what we're looking for. What do you have? And hopefully we want it to just stand out to us, and as we know, be that undisputable video evidence that can help us or confirm us. You know, we like it when our calls are confirmed.
You bet, you bet.
Welcome to Jimmy's Egg. Come on in.
For more than 30 years, Jimmy's Egg has been starting people's day off right with hot, fresh, made-to-order food. Our eggs are fresh, cracked to order every time, and there are over 40,000 ways to craft your own omelet. With signature favorites like our meat lovers skillet or decadent cinnamon roll pancakes, it won't leave hungry. Breakfast and lunch is available every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., so stop in today and let our friendly staff serve you.
Stop by and see us sometime.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Welcome to OKC's most unique casino experience. One moment you're surrounded by dazzling lights, jackpotting the latest and greatest machines in town, and the next moment, cheering home a winner in the greatest quarter horse racing show on earth. It's a truly unique 24/7 gaming experience. The only casino in the heart of OKC is the only casino that can make your heart truly race. Remington Park.
While we've been looking back at past shows of Oklahoma Sports Scene for the month of April, we can tell you right now the Remington Report we're about to present to you is brand new. Here's Dale Day with this past weekend's report from Remington Park.
The American Paint Classic led the stakes racing this weekend at Remington Park with the nation's top 2-year-old paints in competition on the racetrack. And then Extreme Race Day 10 featured some of these animals right behind me, pulling in yet another humongous crowd to Remington Park. The Grade 1 American Paint Classic Futurity at 350 yards featured the top qualifier from trials on April 12th, Southern Electric. Also CL Victoria's Secret, the 4th place finisher in the Oklahoma Paint Appaloosa Futurity in March, and Babe Wired, who was 3rd in that same race. They're off in the American Paint Classic Futurity, away sharply from the inside. Bell and Wire now weaving about, and from the outside rolling. Here's Southern Electric into high gear. Southern Electric flying now, being chased by CL Victoria's Secret. It's Southern Electric on top. Southern Electric pulling clear here in the American Paint Classic Futurity. Southern Electric came through with a big charge on the outside to win easily in the American Paint Classic Futurity for owners Dan and Kay Jones of Kemp, Texas. Their 3rd consecutive win in this particular race. Matt Whitekiller was the winning trainer and Cody Smith the winning jockey. They also won this race for the 3rd time, having teamed up with the Joneses the last 2 years as well. Prices for the American Paint Classic Futurity. Southern Electric paid $4.20 for the win. Second, number 1, Bell and Wire. The 5, Wired Special, was 3rd. And number 6, CL Victoria's Secret, rounded out the Superfecta. Also on April 27th, the 3-year-old paints competed in the American Paint Derby. Live Moonshine, winner of the American Paint Classic in 2018, was trying to pull off the Paint Classic Derby double in 2019. They're off in the American Paint Derby. Out quickly from the middle, RP Livewire Dash battling right there at the rail. I'm a Real Livewire has advantage now and has the lead by a good half length. Coming on is Memories of a Little Hero, and farther out, it's Live Moonshine running off here. I'm a Real Livewire is out by 2. I'm a Real Livewire takes the American Paint Derby clear. The American Paint Derby going to I'm a Real Live Wire in an outstanding performance. How outstanding? New track record outstanding. That's what? 400 yards in 19.32 seconds. That sets a new track record at Remington Park for paint and Appaloosa racing at the distance. Carol Stacy of Warner, Oklahoma, the owner. Michelle Hurdle trains. Jose Vega, the winning jockey for I'm a Real Live Wire, who paid $16.60 for the win. Second was number 7, Live Moonshine. The 6, Memories of Little Hero, was 3rd, and then number 5, RP Livewire Dash came in 4th in the American Paint Derby. Sunday, April 28th, featured the 10th Extreme Race Day at Remington Park, and the action in between the horse racing did not disappoint. We now move into May at Remington Park and get set for the Kentucky Derby on Saturday, May 4th. Live racing at Remington Park features the Grade 1 Leo Stakes, and the action begins at noon, followed by the Kentucky Derby. Don't forget, plenty of great racing continues all the way through June 1st here at Remington Park as we continue with this 2019 American Quarter Horse season. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
Hope you've enjoyed our look back at some of our big shows here in the month of April, Oklahoma Sports Scene. Some of the past highlights. Now we'll kind of look ahead to the first show in May, Coach.
And really the first show in May with the Kentucky Derby.
That's right.
That is a great opportunity for us to look and see who the horses are going to be that will try to go for the Triple Crown.
And we're going to update the Tulsa Oilers, whether it's recapping their season. Hopefully they're still playing in the playoffs. And then Barry Lewis, our friend of the Tulsa World, of course, always has our athlete and coach of the month. Join us on Oklahoma Sports Scene next time. See you in May.